Hello, gamers, geeks, and goblins, and welcome to the Fantasy Fight Club podcast. I'm your host, Kenny, and today I'm joined once again by Goblin, Jakeem, and Cryptid. Today's topic is going to be Legolas versus Hawkeye. So we have Lord of the Rings versus Marvel. Who's the better archer? Who does everybody have in this fight?
Let's see. I personally say Hawkeye, specifically because the Marble Rebel is just so
Because you're
fucking
playing the
it's
video game.
fucking massive. There's just he'll have a bunch of arrows, adamantium, vibranium, like fucking negative zone metals or whatever.
Jakeem?
Step back. Did you say the Marvel Rivals version?
Yes, he was
That's
playing
why
the video
you
game.
say Hawkeye?
Yes.
No, I
Well,
didn't mean
to
to.
be
I didn't mean to
fair,
say
I was just making
rivals.
Legolas
sure.
would be more
I mean,
professional
I
though,
didn't. I didn't
because
mean
he's
to
an
say
elf,
rivals.
so
I've just
therefore
had
he's
it. I've just
older.
been playing it a lot and have it on the brain. But I definitely
Guys,
think
we're
that the
speaking
Marble
above
Rebels
each other.
I definitely think that the Marvel universe is massive enough that just like comic wise, they're just you can get arrows from all sorts of bullshit places like the negative zone. You
I mean,
can
yeah, it's multiple versions of each hero clashing together, but the question is, if we're including the Marvel Rivals versions, they all have the same kit. It's not like one's gonna have stronger arrows than the other, or
no,
one's gonna
no.
have
I mean,
better
no,
arrows than the
I
other.
didn't mean the Marvel Rivals.
It's a goddamn. I know, but it's a goddamn game. They have the same kit. They're not gonna have multiple different arrows
Yeah, I know. What I mean is
across the
that
multiverse, so you can't say that.
What were you
I've
saying,
been
Goblin?
playing Marble Rebels and said it accidentally. My ADHD just crosswires. I just meant like the comics.
Got it. But anyways, what were you saying, Goblin?
Legolas is older, therefore he would have more
You,
experience. That's all.
So I'm going with
That's why
Legolas.
when we say why, because
I'm
everybody talks over
honestly,
each other, and it gets really annoying. Cryptic,
yeah,
love you,
yeah.
cryptic.
No,
Honestly,
you don't. Okay.
see,
If I didn't, I wouldn't put up with you. You would
honestly,
not.
I know. I'm messing too.
and as I was saying, I, I all there's ways both of them could take it, but I'm definitely on the side of Legolas.
I said Legolas is older because he's
Considering
elven. He's
I'm a
gonna be
Marvel
older.
fanboy, I'm on the side of Legolas.
Hawkeye, he may have more training because Marvel and shit, but Legolas's
Who do you got,
his
Kenny?
name's probably gonna be
Oh, I'm
better.
going with Legolas all the way.
I'm going with
Oh,
Hawkeye.
so Cryptid's the only one on Hawkeye.
Yep.
All
Wow,
right,
I'm
let's get it.
following
Hey, I'm
Hawkeye.
not the odd man out this time,
I will.
for once.
I will say that Hawkeye may have a slight advantage with the technology in his arrows, but in overall
Mm.
performance, I'd go on Legolas. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much Hawkeye can keep. I mean, we've seen Hawkeye incredible feats in just the Avengers one movie alone. That no look shot on the Chitauri ship, blowing it up, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was
so
I'm not gonna lie, that was amazing. But all around, I feel like Legolas takes it in terms of overall skill, overall mechanics, and hand to hand combat.
Yeah. So Legolas
Has lived for over hundreds of years. Sorry?
he's never missed a shot.
Yeah, he's lived for hundreds of years. 90% of that was him training or on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
He lives, breathes, and bleeds the arrow, the bow and arrow. I just don't see
does he
Hawkeye
fuck
coming
the
out on
arrow
top of
too?
this.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Cryptid?
So does he fuck the arrows too?
He makes you fuck them
Christ.
by putting them through your heart.
Yeah. Or
Anyways,
he's gonna dry dock you. Jesus,
anyways, the
can you
reason
imagine
I say
being fucking
Hawkeye is
dry
because
docked with an arrow?
The reason I say Hawkeye is
Say again?
because I definitely think his training, just to be the best marksman in the world, is just as an Avenger is like more intense, and it's specifically like due to one, just line of dialogue. It's basically just he he's fighting alongside just people with just iron suits, super soldiers, just mutants and stuff, and just if he misses one shot, he's just a guy with an arrow.
Could say the same thing about
But I mean,
Legolas.
at the end of it,
He's
yeah, the same can be said for
fighting
Legolas. But at
guys
the
and
end of the
everything.
day, Hawkeye, yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
I was just say everyone he fights is in armor, and the Urukai are basically mutants. So I mean, it's the same thing could be said about Legolas.
Exactly.
And he
And
doesn't
at
have
the
like
end
a
of the
block
day,
move.
Hawkeye is just human.
Mm-hmm.
Legolas is an elf. He has enhanced strength, he has enhanced mobility, he has enhanced speed, and he has heightened senses.
Yeah.
Not only that, his reaction time is significantly faster than Hawkeye's, which he can process information a lot faster as well, which makes him all the more dangerous.
I'm pretty sure it was in the movie when they were crossing the mountains and shit. Legolas was literally walking on top of the snow when it was like waist deep, but he also had like
And he was
supervision.
leaving no footprints. Yeah.
He had supervision, could see through everything, and then in the books, it even talks about how his vision is that of like a hawk. Like he can see
Yep.
20 miles and some bullshit like that.
Damn, Legolas stealing the title.
That's what I said.
I
Legolas
just
is
don't. I just don't see Hawkeye coming out with anything.
the
Yes, he
only.
has the trick arrows, the
I was gonna.
technology.
I was
He
gonna say the
might.
only way that he could probably get an advantage is if he uses his tech arrows and like sets traps and shit. It's about the only way that he
Yeah,
could.
but how long? Yeah, exactly. My question is, how long before Legolas actually pick up on what it is and defend against it? Because he doesn't even need to know what it is. He just needs to know how it works.
Yeah.
He Because like technology is way advanced, yes. But if someone's shooting an arrow at you, it's still an arrow. It just does something extra.
Right.
All he has to do is figure out what that extra thing is that the trick arrow is doing.
Well, let's see. In the case of just vibranium arrows, just just vibranium, just from what I've heard, just gets stronger with kinetic energy, and being fired out of a bow and arrow. Just
I
the
don't think he
problem with
has
the
access
stronger.
to vibranium arrows, though, does he? Does he have access to vibranium arrows?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've seen a few
I've
comics where he
seen,
has
I've
them.
seen, I've seen, I've seen him with explosive arrows, pim particle infused arrows that allows him to shrink or grow whatever it hits. I've never seen him with vibranium arrows.
Comics.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Do you have a source for that?
I don't remember the comic run. I was pretty much a
I was gonna say
newish at the
if you
time,
could
but I
list off
remember reading it.
if you could list off the comic run and episode or the comic book number, you would get extra crazy points.
All right, let me try
Yeah, I'd have
googling
to
this.
I'd have to look it up to try and corroborate.
No, you don't get the extra
But
crazy
anyone else have anything to
off the
wait?
top of your head.
Yeah, I have to do it at the top of my head.
Yep. To get the extra crazy
What?
points.
This isn't high. This isn't freaking high school, and you're not my teacher. I'm gonna look it up.
Anyways, so with Legolas, he does neither one of them have necessarily speed advantage or really a strength advantage, but Legolas definitely does have a reaction time advantage, I would call it. Right? More or less just like in a reaction.
Say that again.
Legolas has like a reaction time advantage. It's not really like a speed
Yeah.
advantage because he's not inhumanely fast. He's just his reaction time is quick.
It's a lot faster than that of the average human. Yes, he's a
Yeah.
elf, which gives him a lot of these heightened attributes.
Right. But I think that Legolas.
Okay, so I just looked it up.
What comic book is it?
It doesn't say, but it does say in Marvel Comics, Hawkeye, whose real name is Clint Barton, has been known to utilize arrows made of or tipped with vibranium, as just for speed, for specific
Okay,
tactical advantages.
is that Google AI or is that like
All right.
actual
It's
websites?
Google.
I would like an actual comic book.
Clickety clackety clickety clackety.
Wait. Also, just ignoring just the the vibranium arrows. What about just the rocket arrows?
It's pretty much what you get with
Because
Legolas.
Legolas could
No.
still get caught up in a blast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trick arrows, explosive arrows. We've seen him use pin particle infused arrows.
He could
It's
also
just a
combo by
matter.
throwing multiple trick arrows at once.
I should mention that Legolas, as an elf, has a healing factor. Now, it may not be on par with Daredevil. Sorry, it may not be on par with
Hooterman.
Deadpool's or Wolverine's, or or maybe not even Spider-Man's, because Spider-Man does have a healing factor, but it's not as quick as you'd expect. It's just that he heals like a normal human. It's just faster than a regular human.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
his I'd say Legolas's healing factor is on par with Spider-Man, whereas you break a leg, it will take like 6 weeks to heal. It would normally take them like a week, maybe a week and a half.
I say the trick arrows where things like sets them apart. Cause let's say just Legolas manages to just hit Hawkeye in the arm. Okay, cool. He's bleeding. Let's say Hawkeye hits him with an explosive arrow. There's a blast radius. You might not be able to use his arm, or with the pin particles, he's shrunk down. He can't use his bow and arrow, and just all his punches are like reduced in force and just overall usefulness. Since he's like fucking 2 inches tall.
Actually, not necessarily. We've learned from watching Ant-Man that even though you're small, if you do it correctly, you can still hit with the full force as if you were not small.
Yeah.
It'll take a while, but I feel like being small, Legolas would be able to adapt. He'll be able to avoid Hawkeye's hits while staying out of his vision while delivering hits and eventually adapt into the new height and be able to deliver full power blows.
I think it's kind of a
Because we
reach to
know
say that he's gonna figure out just the exact way to fight the way Ant Man does.
the I'm not saying he's gonna fight the way Ant-Man does. I'm saying he's gonna figure out a way to deliver full power blows while still being small because it is possible. And
Uh,
him being an elf, being alive for hundreds of years, he is a lot smarter than we let on for him to be.
the best case scenario I can think of him is just that when he's small, is he makes a tiny ass bow and arrow and just shoots Hawkeye in the eyes with a tiny ass arrow.
Little toothpicks.
And
I mean,
another thing, like
basically,
Hawkeye. So I've seen a video where someone literally watched the show and the movies in like half the speed to be able to identify as much as they can, and showing their proof, they saw that Hawkeye doesn't carry much arrows in his quiver. His quiver holds like 30, and I'm pretty sure that Legolas's quiver holds more. So not only that is what happens when Hawkeye or Legolas runs out of arrows.
Alright, you guys got it. I can't think of anything else.
Say Hawkeye is pretty good at hand-to-hand combat, but I believe Legolas, with his 100 years of lifespan, would have a little bit more experience with that.
I mean, that's like beating up a child.
And it's almost similar to like the Greek gods. For example, Kratos specifically. We learned that in that universe that the Greek gods get stronger as they age. It was the same thing for the elves in that universe. I am referring to the Lord of the Rings universe.
Mm-hmm.
Elves in that universe and the orcs get stronger as they age. The orcs now they feed off of their own anger. So the angrier they get and the older they get, the stronger they get. For elves, it's more like a sense of balance, as in balance within yourself and your
Alright.
age.
Honestly, I just get the feeling that in Lord of the Rings, just some genius orc just figures out that he can like farm the horses just to fucking just become stronger as he ages. Cause you can't,
Either
cause
way,
you can't tell me there's just it's like a 0% chance of like an orc realizing, if I manage to if I manage to find a way to artificially boost how angry I get over time, I'll be the strongest motherfucker alive.
yeah, it is that simple. As much of a
Marvel fanboy.
Marvel fanboy I am, I definitely I definitely believe that Legolas is going to take it. He has the experience. He has a lot more under his belt than Hawkeye does. That's just me.
I chose Hawkeye this episode for two reasons. The first is I'm not too well versed in just Lord of the Rings, and the second, even if just I chose Legolas, there's no one to swing just for just Hawkeye,
Always gotta
and
pick
that would
one.
just mean the episode's over as soon as it begins.
Yeah, all right, well, it's 4-0. All right, episode's over. Bye.
So
Wow.
you really didn't even hide that just you're tired for this.
Well, all right. So let's try and put a scenario on this one.
Bet. Bet.
Um, there's a big ass. Let's just say there's a big battle. I don't know, but somehow, some way, they ended up together on the opposite ends of the field. And do you think what arrows do you think Hawkeye would use first to try and take Legolas out quick?
Sonic Arrow. Bro's got elf ears. I'm sure he can hear better, and a sonic arrow just would be his best just bet.
Well, Hawkeye doesn't know that Legolas is an elf right away.
He doesn't know he's an
Wait,
elf. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I,
but
don't elves
I'm
got like
pretty
20
sure
teeth
Hawkeye
and
would
shit?
just
if you
use.
watch any sort of battles that Hawkeye starts, he usually just pretty much starts off with normal arrows to find any sort
He
of
always opens up with a
pros and
more
cons.
normal arrow. Yes, unless he straight up knows who he's fighting, he will use something different. Like in Civil War, he uses the split explosive arrows. But what we didn't see is that he let off another one to cause damage. Sorry, what we didn't see is that he was distracting Iron Man so that Wanda could get the jump on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me just that someone will be able to figure out that an elf is an elf just by seeing the pointed ears?
Well, if he's on the other side of a
I
battlefield
mean, let's
with
be honest,
archers,
it's
you're
the
not
Marvel
gonna be
universe.
face
He'd
to
probably
face.
guess that he isn't human, but he's not gonna elf. Look at the
Okay, but
Chitauri.
he's
No
not
one
elf.
knew what the Chitauri was.
he fought
And
Elk before when he got like trapped in Alfheimish. Like
You're
in that one
you're right,
in that
but they're both archers, so they're both going to be on the back end of the battlefield. They're not going to have Legolas is going to be able to see Hawkeye
exactly.
like as soon as they comes over the crest because he's got his
But Hawkeye is not
elf vision basically. But
exactly.
Hawkeye doesn't have any sort of magnification to his vision unless he's got binoculars. So
yeah, I was,
And then not only that, Hawkeye is
what about
legally
the
dead.
binoculars he wears on him?
the what?
The what?
Just when like in some of his designs where he's wearing like sunglasses that double as binoculars. What about those?
He's only had he had those a few times.
Yeah, but it's still part. It's
Okay,
still
so
part by.
yeah,
It's still part
I
of his
guess you
design.
got
Like to have
you got a point on
Even
that.
if he
not too
does
far
have
out there
them,
to start him off with that.
I mean, you got a point on that one, but
even if he does have them,
it's not going to do a biological scan and be like, this is an elf.
No, but he'd be able to see the ears and figure it out. You
Well,
know.
Legolas has got long hair also. Sometimes it's hard to see his ears.
Okay, fair.
So, I mean, to a point, yes, and to a point, no. It's like a 50-50. But, yeah.
Do a coin flip.
I would say they obviously both launch just normal arrows because the Legolas doesn't have any sort of specialty arrows. But I think Hawkeye would try to use some kind of exploding arrows or taser arrows or something along those lines to like concuss him or
Ooh.
stun him or something to the point where he can get in a little bit closer.
Let's see. Do you think he? Do you think just Legolas could tank a taser arrow?
Well, he at a good distance, Legolas could pretty much react to anything coming towards him. So he'd be able to
anything,
he'd be able
literally
to
anything.
like sidestep pretty much all the arrows that Hawkeye would launch at him from a distance.
Let's see. All right, different scenario. What if Hawkeye launches an an explosive arrow, and then fires off a second arrow like through the smoke of the explosion?
Well, yeah, he could do that. That's what I'm saying. But like, I'm pretty sure there's a scene in
My que-
Lord of the Ring movies where someone shoots an arrow at Legolas and he literally just turns his shoulder and it like goes into the wall behind him. And they are pretty relatively close distance too.
All it takes is once. All it takes is for him to listen. To be honest, because like, let's say number one, he fires the explosive arrow. Both their visions are impaired. Hawkeye still knows where Legolas is because he gauged his position before firing off the explosive arrow.
He's got an idea.
He sends an arrow. He sends this. Yeah, he sends the second arrow either through the smoke or while the explosion is still going off.
Yeah. Plus, he can let off
Question
multi arrows
is,
to increase the chance of hitting just
So depending on the distance of where they are at that, it would depend
depending
on how,
exactly.
because if Hawkeye launches the second arrow before the exploding arrow goes off, then Legolas will see him launch the second arrow. But if he launches it,
Yeah, Legolas is not gonna.
if he launches it too late and doesn't time it out with the explosion, Legolas will hear the twang of the string and be able to know there's a second one coming.
Okay, but explosions are loud.
Exactly.
Explosions are loud. Just I'm pretty sure just Legolas would hear the explosion before he hears just him draw his bow again.
Well, yeah.
That's not what we're. That's not what he's trying. That's not what he's trying to say. That if
Hawkeye would
time it, he's gonna pick up on everything.
Yeah, Hawkeye would literally have to let go of the arrow, the second arrow, the second the explosion goes off, or else Legolas would more than likely hear the second arrow being let loose.
On top of that, in this scenario, we gotta assume that Hawkeye is still aware of Legolas's position. Do we really expect Legolas to just stand there and wait for a second arrow or whatever Hawkeye has planned to come to fruition?
No, as
Like
soon as that
seriously,
explosion goes off, he's gonna move.
he's already ready. Exactly.
There's also just the environment you gotta like consider, because just let's say they're in the forest. Well, just Legolas does have home field advantage. The explosive arrows just are deadly because it could cause Legolas to fall off a platform or cause debris to fall onto him. Meaning he's had to dodge just Hawkeye's arrows while dodging debris.
Yeah.
This is to this is to assume that Legolas is constantly on the defensive. He's not going to be on the defensive for too long.
No, he's gonna move and let loose arrows, and then move and let loose arrows. Like he's gonna
He's
move.
going to be releasing arrows while he's moving and whatnot. So we have to assume that Hawkeye is also on the move and stuff like that. It's not going to be as simple as a one trick pony shot or using the environment because
Yeah,
again,
there's also the factor just with the
again,
debris that if Legolas is shooting back, he could accidentally hit some debris. Like these trick arrows,
again,
just
Legolas, a literal. When I say literal, I mean literal. Legolas is a literal master at his craft. He is hundreds of years old. He is far more experienced than anything or anyone Hawkeye has ever fought in terms of archery. I just it
Yeah.
let's see. Thanos is approximately 1,000 years old, so not quite literally older than anything he fought.
We haven't put Thanos in
did
any
you
scenarios yet.
completely ignore the fact where I said in terms of archery?
I didn't hear that part, so I didn't ignore it. I just didn't hear it.
He sure did. So, now, my other question I would have on this topic would be, let's say they've played the distance game, they've shot all their arrows, neither one of them are hurt yet, pretty much. Who has the upper hand on close quarters?
Legolas.
So
Legolas.
you're gonna abandon your Hawkeye now?
I'm not abandoning Hawkeye, I'm just not gonna fucking lie.
Okay, you're learning.
Like,
Yeah, Legolas definitely has it on hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
The additional speed, the additional strength, reaction time, it's just gonna be too much.
yeah.
Yep. So, for talking long distance, it's a 3-1 scenario. If we're talking close quarters, it's a 4-0.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Goblin, you got anything you wanna pipe in on?
No.
You sure? It's been sitting there looking
I'm
pretty.
fine. Maybe.
Anyways, on the topic of archery, just you wanna know what just archers just like feel like in video games? You know,
What?
so you know how just like you're fighting just melee style with someone and then just an archer hits you?
Yeah.
So imagine just
Yes.
you're engaged and then just just with an interesting conversation full of just nuance and just as well as just just insight, and just someone across the room just yells. That's what getting shot. Buy an Archer
Wow.
just like in a video game. You
You know what's
see,
funny is I'm gonna
you're
I'm
smiling.
gonna have to agree
You're
with you.
smiling and nodding. You know I'm fucking right.
you know what's funny is I'm gonna beep that out so no one's gonna know what you said.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I've never been
That
in a
makes sense.
situation where someone yells from the other side of the room.
Lucky you.
All right. Well, another quick short episode. Once we get some more topics on our board, hopefully we'll find some more, a little bit more conversation to have with them. I think we've got a couple on our list that fit that description, but we'll get there when we get there. This week's episode, Hawkeye
Hell
versus
yeah.
Legolas. I'm just gonna call it 3-1. As Cryptid did say Hawkeye at the beginning.
It definitely would be an interesting battle to watch,
Oh
but
yeah, for sure.
I feel like going into it, everyone would be going into it knowing who's winning, and I feel like anyone who expects a different outcome from what is clearly going to be
I really wish we had
the
our
winner, I think anyone
hands.
who expects a different outcome
Yeah.
is biased.
So I really wish we had our hands on some kind of AI generator that could we would type in, because we're basically going off of characters that have some sort of physical background because they're comic books, there's TV shows, movies, all that kind of stuff.
Some sort of similarities within
A
their
simulator.
thing.
So we could just type in what they are or who we're battling up against, and it'll give us, like, out of 100 battles, this is the winner, and this is how, and all this other crap.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot more description and talk to be had. And it would be even better if we could find an actual, like, video simulator to use to put in some clips and stuff.
We interrupt this bullshit for some breaking news. The 2 new characters that are going to be added on Marvel Rivals will be added on April 7th. We now return to your regularly scheduled bullshit.
But anyways, till next time. Till next time.
Oh,
till
we're still
next week.
filming? I
next
thought we
time.
stopped. I'm sorry.
Yes, we're still filming.
Like,
Peace.
subscribe, follow the channel, comment down below who you want to hear about, who you want us to discuss. Who do you think would win, Legolas versus Hawkeye? Go watch the other episodes, see what they're all about. Till next time, catch you later.